memory of the slain protesters from Maidan is everywhere in Kiev. A year ago, opponents of autocratic President Viktor Yanukovych first called for protests via social media. Mustafa Nayyem was one of them. At the time, he was a well-known journalist and government critic. After the revolution, he changed roles. The 33-year-old Maidan representative took his place in the newly elected parliament for the party of President Petro Poroshenko.
I remember how many times people were disappointed, and then they rised again, and they stayed during the nights. And now I think that it was worse to do that. But from the other side, I'm a little bit sad that we have the result we have now.
Many of those protesters are today in uniform. Pro-Europeans volunteered to fight against the pro-Russian rebels in the conflict in Ukraine's east. Among them are many students. Nayyem is meeting with the Euromaidan movement to answer questions. Many fear that as long as the war goes on, the political system won't change. Old elites will find their way back again. And the majority will still not be able to make ends meet. Things have to move quickly. He's now off to Parliament for coalition negotiations. It's an urgent task as the war continues.
Because that if we do only reforms, we'll have problems in the East. If we do only war, we'll have problem here in Kiev. We'll have protests.
Civil society is keeping up the pressure from Kiev offices like this one. During the Euromaidan protests, they responded to emergency calls from arrested protesters. Now they want to be heard politically.
We want to be involved more, and that we want to cooperate closely with the committees and with the drafting the laws and with the implementations.
Many old lawmakers still have seats in the new parliament. Nayyem criticised many of them sharply when he was a journalist. Today he sits beside them. He wants to change things and at the same time pacify the East.
I think the most effective way to solve this problem is to build something attractive here in Ukraine, to push people on east of Ukraine to be a part of Ukraine and to join Ukraine, maybe not here, not now, but in some years. And that way it's only way of reforms. We don't have any other choices.
Otherwise, everything that began on the Maidan in Kiev a year ago would have been in vain.